Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Retro Geek here. Wanting to bring you another YouTube video, and I wasn't originally even going to do a video today, if I'm just being very forward about it. But something came up yesterday. I was watching some YouTube, and a video came up that was talking about a controversial game that's going to come to the Nintendo Switch, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, well, what game is this? So I wanted to sort of throw some ideas out there, and then of course get your thoughts. If there's anything that you can think of that might be considered controversial, that would come to the Switch, put it down in the comments below. Tell me what game you think it is and why would it be controversial? Why would it be this big? You don't really want it kind of thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bring up the article here, and we're going to look at it and just kind of see here a little bit why this article even kind of exists, because it's a little bit confusing, and we'll sort of talk about that along the way. Now, as you can see here, I have this article up from Comic Book Gaming, comicbook.com, and it talks about how there's all these games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch. We have, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, we have Splatoon 3, we have a new Mario Strikers game. We eventually are going to get, Advance Wars 1 and 2, another Mario plus Rabbids game, and all this other stuff that we know is coming, along with, of course, the next Breath of the Wild game, or the next Legend of Zelda, I should say, the next Metroid Prime game. But now there's a new rumor that teases that in August there will be a redacted Nintendo Switch game from Nintendo. What this game is, we don't know, but the rumor adds that you don't want it, trust me. So, what this is basically saying is that it was an unannounced, whether it doesn't know whether it's an already announced game, something that's already been released, for an example, which we'll go into in a little bit, or if it's an unannounced game. The tease simply implies that it is a game that nobody wants, and it's not of the highest quality. So, let's talk about that for just a little bit, shall we? Because my thing is this. I can't think, and this has been my main line of thinking when it comes to this. I can't think of anything that Nintendo would do this for. Or really any video game company, because, I know that it's not intentional. I know it's not an intentional thing. Nobody ever releases a game and thinks, oh, this is a game that's going to be hated and no one's going to want to play it. Everybody that releases a game wants to have a game that is played. That's what everybody wants. So I just can't imagine Nintendo sitting down in a board meeting and going, you know what, for August, let's release a game that everybody's going to hate and is going to make us no money at all. Like, I can't think of that. But if I had, so all these rumors that people, all these game ideas that people are throwing out as far as, oh, it's such and such game. Well, Nintendo has to think that somebody wants to play it. Even if it's a game like a 1-2 Switch sequel, well, I want to play that. Yeah, I didn't really care for 1-2 Switch too much, but it's still something that my family has enjoyed playing. And at the end of the day, it would be a fun little mini game collection to have to play with my family. I liked Other M, and I liked Star Fox, so any of those games that come out, people want, oh man, I didn't really want that. Well, that I didn't want Portal. I didn't want to have PS3 era Assassin's Creed games on my Nintendo Switch. But yet here we are, we have them. So the whole idea of you don't want it, trust me, I guess it's subjective. At the end of the day, it's subjective as far as like what do you consider to be a controversial game. The only thing that I could think of, especially if they're going to continue, like anything you can think of, like hey, Pandora's Tower, okay, or Pandora's Tower sequel. Well, that's cool. You know, another Last Story. Okay, that's cool. The only thing I can think of that's come from like maybe the Wii or the Wii U era that nobody would probably want is maybe Devil's Third. That's the only game I can think of. But even then, that game, as bad as it was, it received so much negative attention that I don't think Nintendo, again, would even trust it. That they would try to release it again. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't make any sense to me as far as like, yeah, this game sold poorly on the Wii U because the Wii U sold poorly. So we can try Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze again. We can try Bayonetta 1 and 2 again. You know, that stuff makes sense. But when Devil's Third was such a poorly received game on a poorly received system, I don't think Nintendo would even risk it. I don't even think that they would try it. Because that's the only thing I can even think of. Because any other game that I can think of off the top of my head is something that either I can understand them trying again, or at least maybe coming up with a sequel for. Like again, a 3-4 Switch, for example, or a 1-2 Switch sequel. Okay, yeah, maybe people don't want it because they thought 1-2 Switch should have been a packing game, but at the end of the day, 1-2 Switch is enjoyable, even if it's only a once or twice kind of thing, or once every couple of months kind of thing. It's not a constant replayable game. Because of the fact is you can get through all the mini games in like an hour or even less. So, but it's still fun to play. I mean, watching my kids, you know, beat their chest to the 8 mini game, or you know, doing the quick draw. We have a lot of fun with the quick draw stuff. So I mean, it's having a sequel to that isn't going to be that big of a deal. I think Nintendo could confidently see that there'd be money there. And also the same thing with like Nintendo Land or Nintendo Land 2. I want to play Nintendo Land 2. I want to see what you can do with new IPs or just new mini games under the same IPs using the Switch hardware instead of the Wii U hardware. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, guys. Again, I can't really think of anything other than Devil's Third, but even then, that game is so universally panned that I can't even imagine Nintendo would even try it. And then if it's like, oh, well, it might be Hatred. Well, we've already got Hatred announced for the Switch. I think they announced it back on the 11th or something that it's coming to the Switch. So, even Hatred is something that, you know. So I mean, unless it's just such a low quality, like what was that? It was like a Black Panther game or something. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, if it's something like that, where it's just the quality of the game is so low that it's below what people would expect from Nintendo, I can see that. Then that comes down to the third-party developer, not Nintendo. But if this is an actual Nintendo game, or a sequel to a Nintendo game, I just can't imagine Nintendo releasing something that they don't think has a chance to sell. Because again, if you want to go into, oh, you don't want it, trust me, because it's a Wii U game or it's a portable game, well, that's been a lot of stuff that's come to my Switch lately. That's been a lot of stuff that's come to Switch that I thought, well, we didn't really need to have that, but here we are. So, I rambled on enough about this. Again, I wasn't even really intending to make a video today, but I appreciate you guys watching and listening. If you've made it this far, make sure that you leave a thumbs up to let me know that you have seen it this far. And if you want to continue to support me, you are welcome to subscribe. I'm trying to work on getting to 1,000 subs. But, you know, let's just take it 100 at a time. Let's just get up to, you know, to 100 right now. It doesn't really matter. I just love the fact that you guys are even watching the video. So, if you again want to just see more content, I'm going to try to make videos at least once a week, depending upon the topics that come up, of course. If I really got nothing to say about it, I'm not going to make a video on it. But anyways, guys, I've taken your time up enough. I appreciate you watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.